Hi, boys and girls. I have great news. We have 50 subscribers, meaning we're halfway to our goal. We're trying to hit that 100, but it's been week 2 and we already have 50 subscribers. We're gonna do another number talk. We're gonna look at this image and we're gonna ask ourselves, what do we notice? Okay, so if you notice one thing, put a thumb on your chest. If you notice 2 things, put 2 fingers on your chest. Maybe you notice 10 things, then put 10 fingers on your head. Okay, all right, and press that pause button if you need some more time to look at this image. I noticed that Miss T notices 3 things. I noticed that Miss Yokimowicz notices 2 things, and Miss Rosales, I can't really tell how many things you. Oh, wow, 4 things. Okay, Miss T, would you like to start it off?
Sure. I noticed that these are avocados and they're all cut in half and put in a row together.
Oh, so I like that you mentioned about whole and half. And so, boys and girls, if you notice, an avocado is usually they're missing a half a part in the picture. Avocado is like this, but it's cut in half, and so we only see half an avocado. Now, how many halves do we see?
I noticed 12 halves.
Okay, how did you count it, or how did you come up with 12?
I counted it by the rows. I knew there was 4, and then I skipped counted. Then the next row is 8, and then the last row is 12.
So the first row is 4 half an avocado halves, and then second row another 4 half avocados, and then the third row another 4 half avocados. Okay, so how many halves are there in total? And if you could come up with an equation to represent how many halves are there. So we know that there's 4 in each row. So if you can quickly grab a paper and a pen and come up with an equation. We're just trying to figure out how many halves are there in total. And then put your thumb on your chest when you're ready to share. And boys and girls, you can press pause. Well, Miss T, you already have it. Okay, Miss Yokimowicz. Okay, we're waiting for Miss Rosales. We'll give her some more time. All right, how about Miss Yokimowicz? Could you share?
Yeah. So I came up with 2 number sentences. The
Okay.
first one was adding all of the 4s together, like Miss T showed us. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 would give us 12 halves of an avocado. But then I also remember that we're looking at multiplication a lot, and I see 3 groups of 4. So 1 group, 2 group, 3 groups of 4. So 3 times 4, because I know times means groups. So 3 groups of 4 equals 12.
And then we also know in multiplication, we can reverse the order. So it's also 4 groups of 3. And this one, I remember, boys and girls, last time someone mentioned about columns. So I think it's Miss T. And so if you look at here, there's column 1, which is 3, column 2, which is 3, column 3, which is 3, and then column 4 has 3 halves. So we're essentially looking at 4 groups of 3 right here. Okay.
And I love how you can see both kinds of equations on the picture. Because you see the blue one is 3 times 4 and the red one is 4 times 3.
Yeah, it really shows our thinking.
And now that you mentioned that, I just want to make it even more clear. Okay, all right. Now this one's going to require a little bit of more higher thinking. So what we're going to do is, what I want you guys to see is that if there are 12 halves of avocado, then how many actually how many avocados are there in total in whole avocados? Does that make sense? We know that there are 12 halves. So how many are actually if the avocados are in whole? Does that make sense? So we have a half and a half. So think about this, okay? And then would someone like to explain their thinking, how they came up with it? Okay. All right. Ms. Rosales, do you want to share?
Sure. You're mentioning that there are 12 halves.
Uh-huh.
And from what my coworkers have shared, two halves make a whole. So I'm going to say 12 divided by 2, which is what we are hoping that we're creating.
So we know 2 halves make 1 whole. Okay. So then?
So I notice then that there are 12 halves.
Okay.
And I'm going to divide that by 2. And let me go ahead and explain that piece. I'm looking at 12 and doing sets of 2.
Mm-hmm. So visually, can we group in
Yes.
twos? I love that you did that. So this would essentially be 1 whole, right? Could 2 halves make 1 whole? So we have 1 whole right here. And then should we do this one? Groups
Yes.
of this, which makes another whole. And then here makes another whole. And then this one makes another whole. These 2 halves make another whole because it said two halves make 1 whole. So then, and then another 2 halves makes 1 whole. So how many whole avocados do we have?
6.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 whole avocados in total. Awesome job. Okay, now we're going to move on to another step, and this will be our last step. And so when I'm looking at each half an avocado, for example, this one, I notice that something's missing. So in reality, is it really a half an avocado? So think about that. And let's take a moment to really digest and really think about this. So when you look at this half an avocado, is it really half? And would someone like to explain if it is or it's not? Okay, Miss T.
I noticed that it's not really a half, because if it was a half, then the whole avocado would be filled.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's half of a half.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's actually a missing part right here, right?
Uh-huh.
Someone ate it. Okay.
And did you eat it?
So I love that you say it's half of a half. And so could you explain how you got that? How it's half of a half?
So if I moved the corner right piece, bottom right piece, to the other side, it would be half of the half avocado.
So if these two.
So if I moved, so the first avocado that you drew,
Yeah.
if I moved the piece on the bottom right to the other side of the avocado, you would see that it's half of the half avocado.
I see. So let me do.
Can I add on?
Yeah. Yes, add on, please.
So I noticed that the half of the avocado is cut into 4 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that there are 2 pieces missing. Yeah.
You say that.
So I noticed that there are 2 pieces of avocado there, but then there are 2 pieces missing. And if we have 2 plus 2, that makes 4.
Yeah. So you see that there's actually 4 pieces, and if you divide it, then 2 pieces are missing and 2 pieces are there. Which reminds me, I'm going to end it on this note, which reminds me, this is called equal parts. Yes.
I think Rosales or something.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify, when you're looking at a piece, as it was mentioned, we call those partitions. They are in parts. So keep that in mind, boys and girls, that when you are seeing part of a large whole, it is called a partition.
Yes, and I'm glad that you talked about that, because I'm going to go explain the thinking how these are equal parts of a whole. And so there are 4 equal parts of a whole. If you notice that they divided equally, so each part is the same. So if I were to cut this in 4 pieces, and I have 1 piece, Miss T has 1 piece, Miss Yokimich has 1 piece, and Miss Rosales has 1 piece, because there's 4 of us, we would actually have the same amount of avocado. And so the 4 equal parts essentially is half of an avocado. Yes, I don't know. Okay, well, anyways, boys and girls, that's a lot of thinking for today. And so I want you to, if you guys want another challenge, what I want you to think about, if there are only, if it's half of a half, then how many whole avocado actually are there in the picture? That might require a lot of thinking, but try, maybe you could work this with your parents. Okay, and please comment below your strategy, anything to represent this picture, and please subscribe. Thank you for all your love and support. And goodbye.